Welcome to the Refrigerant Detection System Kit installation video for large unit cooler from Heatcraft. Remember, RDS kits are designed exclusively for Heatcraft's new dual refrigerant class equipment. They can't be used on older A1 only units. Make sure your system is compatible before starting the conversion. In this video, we'll walk you through the tools and components included in the Refrigerant Detection System Kit and how each part plays a critical role in a successful installation. Before we dive into the step-by-step install process, let's take a look at what comes in the box. The RDS kit includes the following items: one A2L controller, 2 terminal boards, 1 relay switch, 1 sensor, 1 extension cable for sensor, 1 defrost wiring harness, 1 high voltage wiring harness, 1 low voltage wiring harness, 8 number 10-3/8 blunted screws, 3 cable ties, installation manual and A2L labels. There are a few items you'll need that are not included in the kit. 124-volt 40 VA transformer. Be sure to confirm the primary voltage, especially if you're working with an unusual power supply. A solenoid valve, and it must be yellow to ensure proper compatibility. A check valve, also required for correct operation. Let's get started with the installation process.
Now we have a large unit cooler in LUC that we're going to put the RDS kit on today. Now it should come with the bracket pre-installed or in the kit that you get when you order it. Either way, that's what you're going to see. All right. So you have your terminal strips there, T1, T2, L1, L2, your actual step-down transformer, your relay, and the actual RDS control board itself. Remember to reference the wiring diagram located inside the access panel of the large unit cooler. Now we're going to go ahead and wire up our low voltage control wires in that harness there. We're going to pull the center tab out. This is the alarm tab for the actual RDS process. You see it has alarm, common, normally open, normally closed. We're going to use common and normally open, and that's wires number 5 and 7. That'll be a orange wire and a brown wire. Orange goes into common, brown goes into normally open. Plugging that little rascal back in. So let's plug that in now. Power supply for the RDS board itself goes right down here in this lower left-hand corner, and that's going to be supplied by this black-on-black wire. So it's a Molex plug, so it's self-locating. So we have that, all right? We have our secondary power supply goes in right here. So we get our 24 volts powered that way. Put that in place. Make sure they're nice and snug, as far as that's concerned. So that's all we need to do, except for the 2 wires to run the actual relay. So that we have our double pole, double throw relay there. See, those ears are right here at the top. So to control the coil, we're going to put those wires in. That's your pink wire and your brown wire go in there. Always make sure they're nice and snug. Get it nice and pretty, because it's always good to do that. Let's go ahead and connect our high voltage wire harness. To start with that, let's go with this. Everything, remember, is color coded and it has a number associated with that. Now we've got our primary voltage at 1 and 2, so that's your black wire and your red wire. You've got your voltage for L1 and L2, the other side of the black wire and red wire. Black goes to L1, red to L2. You've got your dark blue wire, which lands on L1, but also on the relay here in the middle position here in the left-hand side. Also on the relay, we have a light blue wire at the top position of those three positions there, left-hand side of the relay, takes the light blue, and that goes all the way over to the wiring harness there, the terminal strip at T2, light blue. Finally, we've got our yellow wire that plugs into the last end, the bottom end there on the relay, all the way over to T1 on the terminal strip. One more thing now, and that's installing the actual sensor for RDS. Remember, it takes 2 screws to hold it in place. It's down low, down here, so we did that. Remember, too, that the sensor has to be plugged in very snugly. So this is gasketed, so we want to go ahead and put that in and make sure the snap and the retainer comes in place. You'll have tie wraps that you can install, right, push through the openings there on the unit. So you can wrap this up because we want to make sure that this is pulled away from the condensate drain pan, because those heaters down there, we want to have them nowhere close to those heaters. Have that wrapped in place. We have 3 spaces here for sensors. Space number 1 is where I have this installed now. So that's why that's there. We have dip switches here. At the bottom, they're numbered from 1 to 4.
Once the sensor is connected, you'll need to ensure the dip switches are in the correct position. The first dip switch should be set to the off position. The rest of the switches should now be located in the on position.
Now, one more thing to close this up. Now you have to label this to make sure that everybody knows this has been converted to an A2L system. So when there's labels in your kit, affix them where they need to be on the front. If it's labeled Bone or one of our other brands, have it somewhere near that so it says A2L, equipped for that. And also the labels on not only the unit cooler, but also the condensing unit that have to also be labeled properly. So do that with the charge and the refrigerant type, and you should be now ready to go to set this thing up and it be legal and ready to sense a leak if necessary.